set on Earth, or maybe it's more fictionally accurate to say the Dragon World. The setting of this franchise is a mixture of so many influences, with Akira Toriyama famously riffing off the Chinese tale Journey to the West. This is important context when talking about our two main characters, Bulma and Son Goku, and the part they play in the world of Dragon Ball. Let's get this thing started and talk about who Bulma is before she meets Goku and why she chose what we can officially call a Reno 5 Turbo. Bulma is such a central character to the franchise, and I think her origins often get misunderstood. Yes, she's absolutely a psychopath for shooting Goku within the first 2 minutes of running into each other. But here's a short dive into her adolescence and why it's important for setting up her character arcs. After having graduated from university at the age of 15, Bulma sets out to find the legendary Dragon Balls. Oh yeah, there are 7 Dragon Balls in a planetary or dimensional set. There is more than one set, and each Dragon Ball is numbered with the 5-point star symbol. After collecting the 7 Dragon Balls, you can summon a dragon, and at this point in the anime, it's Shenron. The dragon will grant one wish before the Dragon Balls get whisked to various corners of the globe, and you begin your search again in order to receive another wish after a year has passed from the previous wish, even though there are cases of multiple wishes within a year. It can get confusing. To aid in her quest, she invents the Dragon Radar, a device that detects the faint electromagnetic pulse of a Dragon Ball. Clearly very smart, it's no surprise that her father, Dr. Brief, founded the Capsule Corporation through the initial invention of the capsule. This device can store and release larger objects like the motorcycle we later see in Dragon Ball's first episode after Goku trashes the R5 Turbo. Though this is all history that may be old news to you. The multiverse of Dragon Ball Z is just too convoluted for a video that I wanted to keep as short as possible. Regardless, Bulma's home was one of wealth and notoriety. At the same time, her car is very purposefully built for the journey she intended to take. With all of her intelligence and ingenuity, may I propose that Bulma is sort of like the Tony Stark, not Iron Man, of the Dragon team.
I just pay for everything and design everything and make everyone look cooler.
Which I guess would mean that Goku is the Captain America of the team, though that does lead us to question who everyone else would be. Maybe leave a comment. So, from a timeline recap, Bulma graduates from university at 15, meaning she had ample time between graduating and running into Goku a year later in order to design and rig the car used for her Dragon Ball search. And while you can't obtain a license in any East Asia countries until the age of 18, the Dragon World doesn't live by the same laws and confines. So why did Bulma pick a Reno 5 Turbo? And how did she modify it for the different terrain she would need to travel across? 1 year after graduating, at 16 years old, she's deep in her search for her third Dragon Ball after having already found the 2-star and 5-star Dragon Balls. Using her Dragon Radar, she discovers the energy signature of a third Dragon Ball on nearby Mount Paozu. So, she traverses the rocky switchbacks to find it. In preparation to her search, she made a few noteworthy modifications to her Reno 5 Turbo. The first is a roll cage. Actually, let's go back and talk about the base model. The Reno 5 Turbo was sold in Japan as the Reno Go, since the number 5 is Go in Japanese. It's a fun rhyme scheme, the Reno Go Turbo, but any relation to the Son Goku name is naive to understanding how the Japanese language works and is purely coincidental.
Coincidence? I think not.
Yes, Goku is actually a loving riff off the Chinese legend of the Monkey King. In some Chinese dialects, the Monkey King is pronounced Sun Wukong. I'm sorry, I tried my best. But pronounced in Japanese, Son Goku. Fun fact, Chinese developers are even making a video game about the legend of the Monkey King. So yeah, purely coincidental that the Reno 5 had anything to do with Goku's name.
Sure.
In a magazine published November 20th, 2014, entitled 30 Years of Dragon Ball, there is a small section dedicated to the more popular cars of the Dragon Ball manga and anime. In it, it's revealed the artist Akira Toriyama began his artistic career by drawing the things he wanted until he either got them or lost interest in them. So, citing this source, each of the vehicles present in his published works were cars he once had great interest in. That may not be the case exactly when you take a look at the Chevy truck belonging to a farmer who was given such a punitive power level of 5 by Raditz's Scouter in Dragon Ball Z Episode 1. The number 5, once again, being Go in Japanese.
Coincidence?
There is no such thing as a coincidence.
Maybe it more so describes the cars belonging to the main characters. Anyway, so we have the base model Renault 5 Turbo. We've seen this appear as Teenage Bulma's car in Dragon Ball Episode 1, Dragon Ball Path to Power, and the not officially canon mobile game Dragon Ball Legends. We know it's the turbo only, and not the Alpine turbo, as the turbo was the only trim that had the mid-engine mounting location with rear-wheel drive configuration. And when Son Goku lifts the vehicle, while there isn't fine detail, we can make out the rough outline of a drivetrain in line with the rear axles. It's a very crude rendering, but it's definitely not the front longitudinally mounted engine powering the front wheels of the base and first upper trim level offering of the Renault 5. As far as the model year, there are negligible, like truly negligible, differences from year to year. So I feel safe when calling it a 1980 vehicle since it was designed for the 1980 model year and nearly 5,000 of the same design were produced. Well, that's not totally true. There was a rally version and a street version, so 2 designs launched in 1980. It's also not the later produced Renault 5 Turbo 2, the sequel to the Turbo, since the seats changed, and Bulma's interior is more representative of the original Turbo's Bertone-made seats. Otherwise, I'm sticking to the 1980 year. The Renault 5 Turbo was made famous during the WRC, the World Rally Championship, which saw drivers traversing pavement, loose dirt, and everything in between. In order to compete at these levels of driving, safety regulations enforce a rolling cage to protect the driver in the event of a crash, in the event that you should roll over. Bulma made this same modification seemingly because she knew she'd be driving all over kinds of road conditions to obtain her sought-after prizes. Either that, or she purchased the Dragon World's version of the Rally model. It's also typical to those in-house conversions since the rear seats have been replaced with at least a main hoop and rear braces if the animators couldn't repeatedly draw the rest of the roll cage, since there doesn't appear to be a windshield runner or anything else going to the dash. But perhaps an even more interesting modification is the aggressive steering angle drift kit. Take a look at when Son Goku picks up the car. Those front wheels just pivot at a pretty steep angle. You don't see those very often unless the cars are modified for drifting. With this, we learn a little bit more about Bulma and her base level driving skills, but she literally runs into Goku. Yeah, I didn't say they were good skills. If we break down the crash scene, she tries stopping in a straight line, which is fine since you have more braking surface area. Mini lesson, the ground patch of your tire is just a rectangle and you want the part of the tire patch that has the greater length to initiate the stopping frictional force. This is especially important when you're on a slippery surface like loose dirt. The greater the contact surface, the greater stopping capability, which is why the Captain America icy runway scene is so dumb. They would stop sooner if they hit the brakes in that straight line. Anyway, Bulma starts out fine, but at the last second initiates a drift. Amateur move, but that's pretty standard with 16-year-olds who've just installed a drift kit. Her plan may have originally been to use the aggressive angle kit for defensive driving maneuvers since she's on the hunt for the Dragon Balls and many other nefarious foes are after them as well. At least she's smart enough to bring a gun in those scenarios where she would meet a bad person, even if the first encounter between Goku and Bulma leaves a little to be desired. There are some other modifications that we need to place in the category of disbelief suspended. It's the category that we can't really verify since the animation detail just wasn't there for me to confirm them, but based on other modifications we can assume Bulma would perform these too. In this category, all-season tires, which have proven to be the best for both light rallying and regular driving, are the go-to tire. Also implied is an underbody protective shield which appears to be more than the plastic polypropylene which started appearing in the 80s. She really had an open prompt for the car. She could have also swapped out her brake line material since off-road aggressive driving tends to wear away the line quicker with the constant hitting of dirt and gravel. She could have also installed mud flaps which help with protecting the undercarriage as well. Regardless, the vehicle most likely built specifically for the Dragon Ball Surge is destroyed, and with it, Goku's solitude. Bulma is often remembered as the smart character only during important plot scenarios. Every time she does anything genius as a kid, I would always go, oh yeah, I guess she invented a time machine for Trunks that one time. It comes out of left field when a good chunk of the rest of the time she's yelling, hitting people, and driving recklessly. But I guess every driver in the Dragon world has a bit of road anxiety. Like, come on, check out this farmer's truck flip. The animators also had a fun time revisualizing the crash in Dragon Ball Super by Bulma once again running into a grown Goku. Almost the same car color, almost the same fish, and everything. This car is a lot of fun to think about in the world of Dragon Ball. It's inspired a lot of cool fan art, and there's also an R5 Turbo floating out there in the world with a strikingly similar paint job. Is this the right vehicle for Bulma? Probably not. I think she had a lot of car under her feet and she didn't quite know how to handle it. Then again, I wouldn't either at 16. Its modifications kept her safe in the event of Goku hurling her across the dirt road. So maybe it's exactly what she needed. Thanks again, and I'll see you all in the next one.